Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Assalamu alaikum? Close it? Yeah. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Good? Okay, perfect. Now, before I begin today, I want you all to take a moment and close your eyes. Everyone close your eyes. And I want you to imagine the following. Your hands handcuffed behind your back, a black hood on your face suffocating, killing you. You want to cry out, scream, any way to show an ounce of your humanity. But they've silenced you. Not only with the piece of tape that now covers your mouth, but with years of ethnic cleansing and genocide. Your children who you're excited to raise as a new mother taken from you and soon to be killed. Your husband who you're excited to start a new life with, not allowed to enter the country. And your parents, they worry about your whereabouts for months to come. You can all open your eyes. Now, this isn't a made-up story I bring to your attention today, but rather the real-life experience of Mehragul Tursun, a survivor of China's concentration camps for Uyghur Muslims. The Uyghurs, a Turkic ethnic group native to the Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region located in northwestern China, are facing systematic oppression by the Chinese government. Gulbahar Hatuwaji, another survivor of these camps, wrote that the method of these camps is not to kill us in cold blood, but rather to make us slowly disappear. So slowly that no one would notice. A silent genocide that is unknown to millions around the world. But how could such occur in the 21st century? And most importantly, why? To better understand the reason behind the camps, we must first understand the region's significance. The Xinjiang region is extremely valuable to China's government due to 1, trade routes to neighboring countries, including Russia and the north, and 2, an abundance of natural resources, being China's largest gas-producing region. Due to the area being extremely valuable to China's growth, development, and governments, the Chinese government party officials were concerned that the Uyghurs held extremist and separatist ideas, or in reality, their belief in Islam, and viewed these camps as a means to eliminate all threats to the country's Communist Party. Now, experts estimate that the efforts to eliminate the Uyghurs began as early as 2014, but have drastically expanded since, particularly in 2017. It is in this year that there are accounts of the creation of concentration camps and facilities. From April 2017 to August of 2018, the size of these camps have doubled, with nearly 3 million Uyghurs being held captive, 1,000 being seen across the region, and nearly $2.96 billion being invested into these camps. At first, the Chinese government tried to completely deny the existence of these camps, but over time, with overwhelming evidence and satellite imagery to support them, they eventually began to present them as re-education centers. Now, I ask you all today, do these look like camps for development and education, or instead centers of detention for those who have committed crimes and atrocities? In the case of the Uyghur Muslims, the only crime they have committed is being proud Muslims and cherishing their rich cultural heritage, all of which we here do today. Now, many of you might be wondering what actually occurs within the camps. Well, the Chinese government tried to keep it under locks and hide it away. Eventually, with leaked documents, government officials, along with testimonies from those who have been in these camps and are survivors, we eventually began to get a glimpse into the life the Uyghurs are forced into living within these camps. Prisoners are subject to memorize Chinese propaganda, repeat slogans thanking the party and the president, learn Mandarin. If they perform poorly, then they'll be punished. Publicly renounce mistakes in Islam, such as wearing the hijab, prayer, reading the Quran, forced to take unknown drugs, subject to forced labor, involuntary sterilization, biometric data collection, torture, sexual and physical abuse, extraction of their own organs to participate in organ transplants, Nearly 60,000 to 100,000 involuntary donors come from these camps each year. And finally, immense mental abuse, all of which results in the death of many. But unfortunately, it's not only within these camps, but outside of these camps that systematic oppression takes place. 16,000 Islamic shrines and masjids have been completely destroyed by the Chinese government, disguised as renovations to the city. Uyghur children are stripped from their parents at young age and placed into boarding schools that are extremely similar to the residential schools we have seen here in Canada. Schools that have barbed wires and security cameras at their fences, which make us question, are these really schools or prisons? Children are stripped of their language, culture, heritage, forced to speak Mandarin, and spend their crucial development years being fed propaganda by the Chinese government. If Uyghurs are granted the opportunity to bury their loved ones, they are unable to do so due to the destruction of Uyghur Muslim cemeteries. And this picture proves it. On the left in 2018, that was an Uyghur cemetery. And by 2019, the Chinese government completely demolished it. The Uyghur crisis is not just a regional issue. It resonates globally, challenging our values of human rights and ethical governance. For us, the youth of today, it's a stark reminder that the world we inherit is shaped by how we respond to injustice and oppression. While we might feel comfortable living in the West, do not forget that the Uyghurs are being persecuted for the same religion we believe in wholeheartedly. As the future of this country and of this world, it is our responsibility to initiate change. So, where do we begin? First, boycotts and divestments. These camps are not only detention centers, but also centers for forced labor, utilized by companies such as Shein, Temu, Zara, and many, many more. Actively avoid these companies and instead look for ethical alternatives while continuing to demand transparency in the supply chain. ISupportUyghurs.org is an amazing organization with credible information along with an extensive boycott list to help us make ethical purchasing decisions. 2, support Uyghur voices. Donate to and collaborate with Uyghur advocacy groups and human rights organizations to help support and amplify the voices of Uyghur activists and survivors. Push for our cultural and academic institutions to highlight the contribution, suffering, and history through talks, exhibitions, and publication to shed light on the tragedy of the Uyghur Muslims. And it doesn't have to be big. Begin within your own schools, within your own circles of influence, to begin to initiate real change. And finally, do not forget them. Continue to attend and organize protests to show our Canadian government we will not forget about our brothers and sisters and their suffering. We will continue to push for stronger laws and international agreements through contacting our local government officials and signing petitions. And at the end of my presentation, I'll be putting up a QR code for a petition so we can all take the first step together, signing it and making a difference. The Uyghur genocide is not just a chapter in history. It is a call to action for our generation. This is bigger than you, I, or even the Uyghurs. This is an issue that affects our ummah as a whole. We have all heard the hadith of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ that goes as the following. Muslims are like one body of a person. If the eye is sore, then the whole body aches. And if the head aches, then the whole body aches. So see the bodies of our brothers and sisters and see the pain inflicted upon them. How dare we not feel an ounce of pain and responsibility for the torture they go through each day while we sit here and do nothing? By addressing the genocide of Uyghur Muslims, we shape our collective future, one that embraces diversity, respects human rights, and most importantly, stands against oppression. Let us embark on this journey of advocacy, empathy, and solidarity, knowing that the actions we take here today will shift the horizons of our world towards a brighter, more just future. Thank you. Oh my God.
Sign the petition in the QR code.
Yes, please.